one of the things I think this is the third or fourth property that I've looked at of yours with you, and a couple of which we reported in previous articles in the magazine. And one of the things that I like about your approach is that, unlike some renovator developers, you're not literally ripping the guts out and creating a vast open space, which to some extent is, I know that the trends towards that, but you are looking to restore sympathetically to make sure that there is character within the building.
Yes, and I always have a dilemma about that because sometimes I think I don't realise the full potential in terms of value in the property, and certainly that was true of a property I did in Ilford. It was a 2-bed house. I could have turned it into a 3-bed house, but I felt that it would destroy the integrity of the house, really, and so I've kept it as is, and I think it's probably worth 20,000-30,000 less than it could be. But there's something, I am a landlord developer who loves property. I love bricks and mortar, and I have to feel like I like my properties.
Yes.
I don't want to like them enough to move into them, of course, and I have to have a bit of a struggle with it because I do fall in love a bit with my properties, so I have to be careful around that. But I want to like my business. I want to feel comfortable around it. I want to feel like a connection with it, I guess. Probably means I don't become as wealthy as I could, or the business may not be as successful in terms of the bottom line as it could. But
you're buying good solid properties in emerging areas that are clearly becoming more in demand, and you are sympathetically restoring them. And maybe the fact that you are not extracting the full pounds per square foot value now doesn't mean to say that, as you've already stated, that downstream you will be able to. But of course your strategy is to buy to hold. You're not doing buy to sell.
Yes, and I'm buying to hold in areas where there is potential,
yes.
So there's infrastructure improvements and
yes.
so on. I think that's true of all of my properties, that I've always bought them, with an eye on the areas improving.
Right.
And often, quite nervously, I bought in parts of East London where I'm, doubt whether there ever will be any improvement, but I'm kind of trying to hold my nerves.
Yes. Well, sometimes the agent hype doesn't necessarily get backed up with reality anytime soon. Of course, sometimes it does, and then obviously.
The interesting point for me are places like sort of Ilford and Seven Kings and those sorts of areas that are a bit down at heel, but they are on Crossrail. And then you read surveys that say, they're the number one place to buy in terms of, potential. But then you try and find tenants for a property and you really struggle to get decent tenants and so on. So it's a challenge. It is about holding your nerve. But I have had some good luck with other areas like Walthamstow.
Yes.
Who have known that Walthamstow was going to go up in the way it did,
yes.
and so on. So yeah, I think this is one of the important things about buying in different areas, that you end up with a balanced portfolio,
yes.
and not everywhere has to be super successful.